All right, and we are live.
Yay.
So we'll give a couple people some time to jump on.
Okay, perfect.
Let us see. Um, I always forget to put on chapstick before I start live, so my lips won't be extra dry.
You just actually
Okay.
remind, reminded me.
Okay, hey guys. I see everyone joining in slowly. I hope everyone's Thursday is going well. I was getting ready to say Wednesday. Okay, I've been stuck on like one day of the week. So I told you guys before the last live that I did that I would be going live a lot more, bringing you guys some great, valuable information. And today I have a special guest on. Her name is Meyhgin, aka Megs, and she is the community manager over at Beauty Clout. So there's been a lot of talk in the group just about like influencer marketing and hiring brand ambassadors and what you should look for and how do you actually do it. And a lot of people don't know that it is not that hard to get influencers for your hair brand, beauty brand, or whatever type of brand you have. This is kind of a universal topic. But of course, Beauty Clout is focused on connecting beauty brands with influencers. So before we get started, let me turn off my heater, guys. I stay cold, so I'm pretty sure you can hear it. Okay, so I'm bringing Megs on. Megs, like I said, she's the community manager over on Beauty Cloud, and she is going to talk to us today about a lot of information. It may be information overload, but we're going to cover, the basics of Beauty Cloud and just influencer marketing in general. And then we'll have some different episodes where we jump on at different times to walk you guys through some other specific things. So without further ado, welcome, Megs.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So I'm excited to jump right into influencer marketing because there are people watching this live right now that maybe have just started their hair business and they are interested in hiring a brand ambassador for their company, or they're interested in finding some influencers that can promote their brand for them. There are some people on this live who have already started their hair brand and they're ready to dabble into influencer marketing. And I know just a little bit of background, influencer marketing is literally leading marketing right now. When you look at brands like Fashion Nova, they literally built their brand on
Yes.
influencer marketing. Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Things, Boohoo, all of Shein, all of those companies have created a influencer marketing avenue within their company to start increasing their revenue and their brand awareness. So it's very important. And we are going to dive into exactly how this is going to help your personal hair brand. If you guys have any specific questions, please utilize the comment area. You got some hey Meghans. Please utilize the comment area to ask any questions, and we'll be sure we get to the questions at the end. And then as well, if you have any comments, any statements, feel free to add those in the comments as well. So let's go ahead and dive in, Meyhgin.
Yay.
And it's actually good we have Meyhgin on. So she's the community manager for Beauty Clout, but she is also an influencer. So she knows how to give you some tips when it comes to hiring influencers. And then she also has a brand of her own that she works with influencers with as well. So she's very well versed when it comes to just the type of content you should be utilizing when it comes to hiring influencers, or what to look for with influencers. So my first question to you, Megs, is going to be, what exactly is influencer marketing? So for those people out there who are confused, what exactly is influencer marketing?
Well, first of all, it's a total game changer for your business, as you've already mentioned with like tons of other brands. But the official definition that you can consider influencer marketing is a type of social media and content marketing where brands are strategically connecting with their target audience through influencers that influence. So these influencers, they drive their brand message. They highlight what the brands are offering, whether that's a product or a service, and they really help provide more exposure and visibility for a further reach for that business. I always like to say it's a really great way for brands to kind of just sit back and relax and let the influencers do the work. So instead of you as the brand doing all the work of directly marketing to your target audience, directly trying to market to a large group of consumers, you're essentially hiring those influencers to do that for you. And they're pretty strategic with it, and they are like targeting your specific audience. So that's the overall gist.
I like it. I like it. I stopped for a water break and actually
Just a little.
actually spilled water all over my dress. So that was fun. Okay, so that is influencer marketing in a nutshell. So I know sometimes people ask about, I need a brand ambassador for my brand. Brand ambassadors and influencers are very close together. However, the difference between an influencer and a brand ambassador, you want to take that one or you want me to get it?
I'll let you go. I want to see what you. I want to see what you have to say. Actually,
okay. So the difference between a brand ambassador and an influencer, although they do a lot of the same things, a brand ambassador is more long term. So a brand ambassador is someone that you hire for your brand that literally becomes the face of your brand, right? So you have a brand ambassador like
a lot more pressure.
Yeah, I want to give you guys a good example. Who is a big celebrity that you can think of that is like the face of a brand? Let's see.
There's so many.
I want to say Maybelline, and I may have seen Queen Latifah on Maybelline. I could be 1,000% wrong, but this
is or no, Shaq. Shaq is a perfect brand ambassador for a lot of like the general. He's always known as, you know, somebody with like
right. Okay. Yeah. Perfect example. So, if you guys see the commercials, I kind of want to stick within the beauty brand, but we'll use Shaq.
Go ahead.
So Shaq is always on the general commercials, which I vaguely remember, but he's a brand ambassador for the general, right? An influencer for them would be them reaching out to people on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube who have really great followings. And if they want to do like one-offs, or if they want to say, okay, once a month we have this influencer that's going to be promoting the general for people to purchase. So that's more like, okay, they're gonna do a specific post on their social media account where maybe they're doing like a role play, or it's just like a regular flyer, or something lifestyle where they're actually promoting the brand. So that's the difference between an influencer and a brand ambassador. A brand ambassador is more long-term commitment. The influencers, you can kind of do one-offs with those, but they are interchangeable sometimes.
Yeah. I will say one thing that how I love to reference with brand ambassadors is like they're a true representative of your brand, like a literal representation. So brand ambassadors are even sometimes, you know, they have a more stable income stream when working with brands as well sometimes, and they may be even called to like work an event for the brand. It's not necessarily just posting a social media picture or, you know, doing like a shout out, but it's actual work that's put in. So having that knowledge will help brands to set their expectations better on if they want to work with a brand ambassador or not. Like if you just need someone to do some quick work, an influencer is probably the best bet. You can build that relationship with that influencer, and then the relationship can develop as a brand ambassadorship. But brand ambassadors are true like representations, representatives of your brand that you're consistently working with.
Perfect. That is a great example. Okay, so the next thing we're going to get into is the difference between micro influencers and macro influencers, and why both are perfect for your brand.
So macro influencers, I actually wanted, well, there's a ton. Let me first say there's tons of different types of influencers, and they honestly change, it seems like, every day. And they get more and more specific, which is great. But just to kind of touch on the overall macro and micro influencers usually are those who have a following of 100K to even up to 1 million followers. They're they have a large audience, yet their audience is still engaged. And that's because they're focused on a specific niche, and they like, whether that's beauty, fashion, like it's always focused in that area. They offer a lot of reach, and majority of the time they're full-time professionals in being macro influencers. They are perfect. Choose them if you want to target a specific audience, but still on that mass level. You're not doing a mega influencer where it's like you have 1 million followers, but you're still reaching a specific target audience on a mass level. It's great to work with macro influencers because of their reach. However, they can get costly, and sometimes their credibility, you want to make sure that that's there. You also want to make sure with macro influencers that that professionalism is there. A lot of times with macro influencers, they do have agents that work with them, so that professionalism can stay there. But again, it can just be a little costly, but they'll get the job done for the most part. With a micro influencer, those influencers usually have followings from like about 10,000 to 100,000. Um, and again, these numbers can vary. There's some micro influencers that have 8,000 followers. They still can count. It just really, really depends on their reach and, most importantly, their engagement. Micro influencers have a much higher engagement rate than macro influencers, and that's because their audience is a bit smaller, so they're able to interact with them a lot more. You'll hear a lot of times with macro influencers, they can't talk to everybody. They can't respond to every message. They can't respond to every comment, whereas micro influencers have a better chance of doing so. They're also like focused in a specific area, and they're extremely trustworthy and have that loyal following. And that's because of that engagement piece. So you want to choose them if you want to increase your conversions, to build those sales, if you want to increase leads for those sales, but to a specific audience.
Gotcha. That was a great explanation. I'm pretty sure if you were confused about that, now you shouldn't be. I'll just add to that as well. When you're just starting off building a business, whether you're in the beauty industry or you're not, but for this sake, we all are probably in the beauty industry. So when looking to start influencer marketing and you don't really have a high budget, you can definitely tap into micro influencers. And like Megs said, they don't have to have 10,000 followers. There are some micro influencers who have 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers. If you find 5 to 10 different micro influencers who have 1,000 followers and you're sending them a pair of lashes that maybe you paid $5 for, that right there is a small budget. So you could spend $50 on sending 10 influencers lashes that you maybe retail price at $10. And then each one of those followers may have, let's just say, one person that buys, right? So out of those 10 influencers, one person buys from each one of those influencers. Now you have 10 new customers that you're in front of that can potentially become long-term clients because of the great product that you're selling. So when you're thinking about hiring influencers, you do want to set aside a marketing budget where you say, okay, for this month, I want to spend $100 on influencer marketing. And so this is how I'm going to spread that out. I'm going to look for influencers that are only going to cost me no money. Typically, sometimes a lot of influencers that are like below that 10,000 mark, you may be able to just send them product and that be the pay. But for those influencers who do want pay, you can find on Beauty Clout influencers who, may only charge $15 or $25 for a post. And Meyhgin will go through that as we get onto the platform. But yeah, you don't want to just throw away the idea of hiring influencers because you don't think you have a high enough budget for it. You can literally start influencer marketing with no money. And I'll just give you real life examples. I've done promotions for companies that have only sent me product and no payment. So it's possible there are influencers who are doing that. So yeah, you just want to get in the habit of not discounting, what you could do in the influencer marketing realm as a new business. All right. Anything else you want to add to micro and macro influencers?
I was gonna say, when you talked about micro, when I was mentioning like that there's so many different types, another type that some of you may have heard of is nano influencers. So
Mm.
as I mentioned, micro influencers, again, that they can have like that 10,000 and up large following, but nano influencers, which there's a lot more of than like micro and macro. They usually have 10,000 followers or less. I personally think that nano influencers are lit. I think that that's like the biggest, that's the most focused on type of influencer for a lot of brands. And it has a lot to do with they fit in that smaller marketing budget for a lot of companies. But most importantly, their engagement is through the roof. They're relatable. They're real people that offer that relatability. And most nano influencers are known as like just being, they're known locally in their community. Like people know them and they know their followers. And that because of that type of engagement, that builds loyalty. And yes, you can have a collaboration with a macro influencer who has like a larger following, but you know, maybe 5 people are the ones to actually buy into, you know, your business, versus a nano influencer has who may have a smaller audience, but again, they could have 10 people because that loyalty is there. They have a super, super high level of trust with their audience. And like I said, they're just easily relatable. And that's usually what people want. They want to know that they're understood. They want to know that they can be related to. And so I would definitely say nano influencers, if you do have a smaller marketing budget, but you really want to increase that engagement, that engaged conversation, you really want to still have that brand awareness and be known, I would definitely work with nano influencers for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so the next thing we want to get into is actually Beauty Clout, so you guys can get some hands-on experience on how to utilize the platform. Before we do that, if you could just share with everyone why Beauty Clout is so amazing. Talk about maybe the payment system and how sometimes people get burned hiring influencers just off of Instagram, and why a reputable company is great to go with. So if you can just kind of go through what Beauty Clout is, what type of brands are on there, what type of influencers, and then all that good jazz.
Yes, definitely. So if you don't know, Beauty Clout is a social media marketplace where we're able to offer the opportunity for brands to connect with thousands of influencers. Brands have the option, no matter if you are in beauty, fashion, hair. We even offer the category down to fitness, health and wellness. There's a wide array because beauty is pretty broad, right? So there's a wide array of categories that we offer for brands, you know, what you may offer to your audience. As far as like our setup for services and how we try to be strategic with that is we have what is considered a pro user plan and a basic user plan. I always solicit the pro user plan for a lot of brands because you're able to work with an unlimited amount of influencers, create an unlimited amount of what's called campaigns, which I'll touch on in a little bit. Where you can again have that broader exposure to work with tons of influencers and not be limited if you do have a smaller marketing budget, because as a pro user you're paying $29.99 a month. However, you're not required to compensate an influencer. As Zakiyrah mentioned earlier, you can offer product as that compensation, so it essentially saves you the cost, where you're not so limited in working with a certain amount of influencers and feeling like you gotta negotiate and pay this price here for this influencer, because one influencer can say, hey, well, I charge $50 for this social media post, or another influencer could say, well, I have this higher following and I charge 100. And so you're not only having to compensate with your inventory and your products by sending that to them, but you also have to compensate monetarily as well. Whereas with being a pro user, you don't have to do that. The basic user plan, you don't have to pay the monthly fee. However, again, you're required to compensate an influencer and you're responsible for an influencer fee. So that's just the difference of how you can take advantage of which service. We're super, super excited because we just added this addition onto our platform known as Gigs. I'm so excited about it. So if you all are familiar with Fiverr, Gigs is like Fiverr, but Beauty Clout times 10, if that makes sense. So,
brands, yeah.
exactly. Yes. So, the difference with gigs, where we in Beauty Clout, we have Beauty Clout campaigns and we have Beauty Clout gigs. So with gigs, it really gives the influencer the opportunity to list an offering of a service for brands. And what's so great about this is we've created tons of categories according to the social media channels. So whether you need promotion for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, there's these categories where there's tons of influencers offering their services in each of those categories. And I mean, it's down to all kinds of stuff being offered. You know, if you need a haul, or if you need an unboxing of a product, or if you need just a social media post on Instagram, that's offered. Whereas Beauty Cloud campaigns, as the brand, you would create what's called a campaign. And you would pretty much provide a description of what you need done for from the influencer. You would specify everything about your brand, what you're offering, and what needs to be promoted. And then you would set a price range as to what you're willing to compensate the influencer for. Again, that's most likely if you're a basic user, but if you're a pro user, you don't have to compensate. So I know that's an overload of information, but we're going to break it down a little bit more.
Okay, sounds good. And so for the people who are on here that have been burned before by influencers because maybe they paid them up front and the influencer didn't deliver the work, or they just had a very bad experience. Can you talk about what Beauty Clout offers so that that does not happen?
Yes. So Beautycloud actually, we're really hands-on. Our services are very hands-on, where we really vouch for the influencers that we hire, because we're being more strategic and forming as a platform. We're getting a lot more influencers where they're having to apply and do applications and go through this whole approval process. So they're able to be a little bit more vouched for. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, in influencer marketing, it is an investment, just like anything else in your business. So sometimes, you do come across one influencer or two that it may not work out as expected. However, we're really, like I said, hands-on, and we offer our services to handling the influencers directly. We're really strict on terminations and banning of users who violate any of our terms and conditions. But again, everybody that comes through Beauty Clout, they have to complete that process, applying and things like that. I did want to share like certain things at some point, Zakiyrah, like that could really help brands on what to look for in influencers, so that way they can avoid those problems.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to add to that was the escrow that we offer. So there is an escrow where, as a brand, you pay the influencer, but the money is held in escrow until you actually approve the content. So that kind of knocks off things where if you're paying an influencer upfront or even half deposit and they haven't done the work, or they did the work and it wasn't exactly how they described it would be, the money is held in an escrow so that it's not released until you approve it. So that's another sense net kind of under you as a brand, to where you feel a little bit more comfortable and safe actually using the platform. So for those people who kind of just find influencers online, it's kind of a gamble. But having a platform that is actually a safe space where you can pay, your money is held, and it's not released to that other person until they actually complete the work is another sense of calmness that you can have when dealing with influencers. Okay. So the next thing we are going to jump into, let me check to see if we have any questions. No questions, comments. Okay. So the next thing we're going to jump into is how to create a brand account. So if you are the business owner that is watching this live right now and you are ready to get in influencer marketing, you haven't started yet, the first thing you want to do is create your brand account on Beauty Clout. And if you saved to get a reminder for this live, the link is on there. But we will also add it to the screen here. So I'm going to allow Megs to share her screen.
Alrighty. All right, you got a clear view?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as a brand, you would first visit beautycloud.com and you would go down to the page, join to the subpage for brands. That will actually bring you here to where you will sign up, entering your brand name, your website URL, your email address associated with your brand, as well as a password, and making sure that you agree to the terms and conditions. I've already went ahead and created an account. And so once you are able to do so, you'll receive an email just to verify your account with us and verify your email address. Once you have done that, it's an instant email that you should receive. And once you've done that, you'll be able to get full access and log in at beautycloud.com. So once you're on the back end here, this is what the dashboard looks like. So that is essentially how you would get started in creating your brand account on Beautycloud. Hold on, let me see here. So Kira, did you want to go into creating the campaign?
Yes, you can. You have the document that you're going to show them, right? Or go over with the, okay, yeah, so you can do that.
Yep. So once you're on your dashboard, there's easy access in creating your first campaign. So you would create your campaign here by clicking create campaign. But actually, you know what? Just to kind of give a brief overview. You can do it from the dashboard as well, but just to kind of highlight some top influencers that we have circulating within the marketplace, you can kind of just see who's available here as well. So again, you want to click create campaign, and then you would complete this information here, which I'm going to show you in a second. But first, I want to share with you a Beauty Clout brand campaign criteria outline that was offered. And so it just really goes over the details on how you can create a seamless campaign. So in creating the campaign, you have the area where you enter your campaign's title. This could be something such as luxurious lashes for the everyday beauty needing promotion, right? And so once you've created that title campaign or that campaign title, you would select the category of where that is. That specifically would be hair and lashes.
The document that you have here, the criteria outline, I'll upload this in the files to the Facebook group for those people who are in the Facebook group and you want to actually get a better view of this and walk through it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yep. This tool is actually just designed to be really helpful because a lot of times brands wonder as to what they should mention in their campaigns. And I will say in using this criteria outline, it'll really help you to be clear with influencers of what you need and make sure that all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted. And you guys are able to have success in working together. So once you've created your campaign title, you selected the product category, which is definitely recommended because, again, influencers are searching for brands according to those categories. So this will help them find you a bit easier. Once you've done that, you would want to select which type of social media channel you want to be promoted through. You can select multiple ones. Let's just say we're going to select Facebook and Instagram for this one. Now, this is also to help influencers determine whether they're a good fit for you or not, because this can be based on their following. They may have a higher following on Instagram and a better reach, and so they can be able to promote you better on that social media channel. Whereas if it's maybe Twitter that you've selected and they're not, they don't have a larger following there, then they may not be a good fit. So in the next section here with the budget, you want to set the price range of what you're willing to pay an influencer. Again, if you are a basic user, this is required. However, when and if you are a pro user, you would have the option of a $0 option of $0 to set. And so that's what would make the campaign free. Now, influencers, when they are applying for your campaign and submitting a proposal to work with you on your campaign, they are aware of this and they see that it's set as $0. So there should be no confusion of them getting, expecting to get a certain amount of payment from you or anything like that. So you want to set your price range, set your budget. Now, the campaign description. This is really a great, this here, the criteria outline is something that should be included in the description field of your campaign. So in your campaign description, you want to be as super descriptive as possible. You want to be able to share who you are as a brand, what your about is. You want to provide a clear and brief, detailed description about what you offer and things like that. You also want to be sure to mention the campaign objective. So what's the point of this campaign? What are you trying to do? Are you looking to drive more sales, or do you want more recognition and exposure? Next, you want to mention your target audience, because this again will help influencers determine if they're a good fit for you or not. If you are a brand that offers skincare products for aging skincare products at that, and that may be for a more mature audience, then someone who may be on TikTok and they're an influencer that has a younger audience, they may not be a good fit for you. So they would know, okay, well, this campaign isn't for me. So you want to be sure to specify your target audience. And next, you want to highlight the requirements. This, amongst the strategy, which I'll touch on next, is super important to include in your campaign. Having a list of requirements that the influencer should follow, again, should really avoid any type of issues or errors in the future. When and if, like Zakiyrah mentioned, with the escrow thing, with escrow payments, if there is, requirements that weren't met, you're able to request changes be made and that revisions be done before payment is released. But when you have those list of requirements, that should not really be the case. So you want to include, should they have a certain number of followers? What kind of aesthetic field would you like for that influencer to have? What's a requirement that aligns with your brand? Should they have a certain level of engagement? Do they have high quality professional images? You want to really find out what's important for your brand so that those requirements are being met. You also want to include your strategy. So the strategies is essentially how the influencer is going to approach in promoting your campaign. So you having an idea of how you want to be promoted is very, very important. You want to direct the influencer if you'd like them to unbox a product, if that's something that you're offering. And you have a certain way that you do your presentation of boxing and how you send your product. Do you want them to do a giveaway? Do you want them to do a contest? Or do you want them to just include it in their everyday lifestyle? You want to think about how the influencer will post your product, whether that's them wearing it or staging it. And staging is something where they simply are just placing it in a certain setting for a presentable look. Next, you want to make sure in your campaign description it has the key message. So a key message is really what can be included in the caption of how the influencer is promoting your campaign and your product. So what's the message that you're trying to leave with the audience? And this will be really great because the influencer doesn't have to make up a caption on their own, and that could possibly be less descriptive. It doesn't give enough detail, and it really just doesn't connect with the audience and do what it needs to do. Lastly, in the description, you want to make sure that you include your branded tags and hashtags. So what's your Instagram handle? How will people be able to connect with you? A great way to do that is just to say, hey, follow us on Instagram at so-and-so. You also want to be sure to have some hashtags to help with more marketing and exposure for your brand. So having a descriptive and customized hashtag will really help a lot as well. So that's all that will go in the campaign description. And then next you would have a product description. This is optional, but I highly advise that brands include a description of their product. You want to, if it's especially a skincare product, something like that, how would an influencer use it? Because that will also tell the audience how they would use it. You want to also include the URL to that direct product. And lastly, how many days until the expiration for that campaign. So when would you stop accepting the submissions for that campaign? And then next, you would want to make sure that you upload some files and images on, the product. If you have a brand logo, that's great, but we really want to focus on what's being offered here in the campaign. Once that's done, you would click Save Changes, and you should be good to go. Kira, would you like me to actually type through on the campaign? I would try to play around with some fake images or something like that.
Oh, no, you don't have to. I want to hear from the people who are watching. Was this helpful? Do you guys need a little bit more in depth? Would you like her to go over the actual, what were you going to do? The text and the images and everything?
Yeah, so essentially just really providing that description. I may not, it would be pretty long. And I know that this can seem a little intimidating for, to get this all through. But again, what the results that you want to have for the promotion of your brand is very important. So I could definitely copy and paste this in there in the description just to give an idea. But yeah, just uploading some images of product and just to really
Okay.
show what
Yeah,
that live campaign looks like.
that's pretty much self-explanatory.
Okay.
I am going to add the document to the Facebook group. And then, of course, if you're watching this from the Private Label Extensions page or our YouTube channel, I'll put the link in the information for you to actually join the Facebook group. But yeah, that was really good. Is there anything else that you want to add about Beauty Clout, influencer marketing, getting started? Anything?
Yeah, so I know I mentioned I really think this will be helpful for a lot of brands because sometimes what I hear a lot of feedback from brands, they really just don't know what to look for. They don't know what to look for in influencers. They're a little bit lost, and that's totally fine. So just to kind of shed light on that, a couple of things that brands should be looking for in influencers is, that niche that an influencer should have. What is something that they're passionate about, because that will really show up in the quality of their work for you. So you don't want to be a hair company and you're just hiring an influencer on a whim just to get somebody to promote your product and they really just have no alignment with what you offer. It just really doesn't make sense. That'll leave a lot of confusion. Yeah, that'll leave a lot of audiences confused, and they'll just be like, huh? Like, why would you hire someone who is maybe a fitness guru to promote extensions? It's kind of just like, why would I do that? So making sure that you find influencers that align truly with your brand and what you offer, and they're passionate about it. They love what they do, because that'll definitely show up in the quality. I think it's also very important to find influencers who have media kits. That shows a huge level of professionalism, and media kits are really just the creative resume that they showcase for you. So it tells about their work as an influencer, their past partnerships. It shares certain data with you, how many followers they have, testimonials. It's like their resume for the job. And it also shares the details of the pricing that they offer in working with you. You also want to find influencers that have consistent engagement. What is their success as an influencer with their audience? You want to find influencers that have that loyalty piece and trust with their audience. Because you'll just feel a lot more comfortable. That and a media kit, you can't go wrong. Next, authentic following. Please, 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 please don't hire influencers just because they have a large following.
Do you research?
Yes. I'll just have to say, buying followers is just not the move at all. It can be very harmful for brands. When you have that authentic following, there's it's an organic following that's built over time. And that really just shows how valid the influencer is.
Yeah, I will say something in regards to that. I don't know if you guys remember, but maybe it may have been 2 or 3 years ago, Instagram did that whole purge. And
Yes.
everyone who had bought followers on their page, all their followers ended up going away. And then people were able to see, oh, okay, these weren't real followers or real likes and stuff. And you can take one glance at someone's page. If they have 50,000 followers, but like 4 comments and 48 to 100
Yes.
likes, maybe 8 times out of 10 they bought their followers.
Yeah, I know you had frozen a little bit. I don't know if anybody else noticed
Oh yeah,
that.
I just saw that. Okay.
But yeah, like you can't really see an influencer be influential when their audience is fake. So it just doesn't really work. I'll also say make sure that they have an aesthetic that you can feel, like what's their vibe, like what is the influencer's vibe? Does that vibe match your vibe? Are they really boho and earthy, or are they really urban? Like, do they have, a bright and airy feel to their profile, and, their, or are they dark and moody? Like, what really matches your brand? And then lastly, make sure that the influencers you're working with have great quality content. The quality in the content needs to be, it doesn't have to be a professional photo shoot every single time, but that just shows that they care about what they're doing and they're invested in what they're doing, and therefore they'll be invested in working with you, and you'll get great results.
Love it. Love it. I was looking to see if we had any other questions or comments. All right. Anything else you want to share? Tips, tricks? My last little nugget, I would say, is just do it. Like, if you just
Yes.
started your business and you want to tap into the influencer marketing platform, there is no better way to do it than to just do it, and start small. Find one influencer, grab a pair of lashes. Private Label Extension has had numerous sales. Small plug, the drop is happening on Friday, which is tomorrow. So if you have if you want to stock up on some products, I'm pretty sure there'll be some lashes in there. You want to grab a few pair, utilize the lash, get on there, create your account. It doesn't cost to create an account. Get your campaign up and running. Hire an influencer for $0 or $25. Send them a pair of $5 lashes and just try it. The worst that can happen is that it won't work, and then you'll have to try again. That's the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing. And that's not even that bad. It doesn't work. You've lost out on $30 at max, right? So the biggest thing that I would say is just do it. So many different times we're stuck in one spot because we're scared to see what the results or outcome is going to be. But you'll never know what those results or outcomes are if you don't just do it. And I'm learning that a lot in my personal life.
Definitely. I'll also say too, like with as Zakiyrah mentioned, it's free to sign up, even if you decide to go the pro user route and you want to test it out to save some money on end, to just pay that monthly fee and hire as many influencers. It's no contract. You can always hit us up and say, hey, I want to switch to basic. I don't want to pay anything monthly. You can do that as well. And I offer free consultations every week for brands. So if there's any questions or any more information that you need, then I'm more than happy to help. I see somebody commented. Do you see that comment? I'm talking to this influencer, and her page is there we go. It's blocked, and the message says because she tried to. I don't even got to finish your question.
Yeah, I would
Should I take that as a
sign and not work with her.
Not at all. And make sure influencers don't have their pages private.
Yeah, that's another thing. Any business, influencer, brand, pages should not be private. So if you're one of those people who have a private page now, please go take it off. The worst thing you can do is have a private page and you're selling a product or service, because now I'm someone who I'm looking for your product, lip gloss, hair, clip-ins, and or if you have a service,
Mhm.
if you're a hairstylist and your page is private, I'm someone that's looking for what you have to offer, but I don't follow you and I don't want to follow you. I just want to know what type of products you have or, what services you can offer. And is there a link in your bio for me to book you? I want to see what work you've done in the past. I want to see what type of products you have without having to reach out to you. Now you've lost me as a potential customer
Too
because I
much
don't
work.
have access to your brand. Now, if you have a personal page and it's just you and you're posting pictures of your cute little dog or your cute baby or your husband, your wife, or whoever, by all means, have a private page. But if it is a business page, I highly recommend you go and take it off of private right now.
Yeah, immediately.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
You.
Love the purple hair. That's pretty.
Yes. And
That's
the
pretty.
bedazzle.
And the eyeshadow is the whole movie. Hi.
Again. Okay. All right. So we appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll be doing more of these soon. So look out. This is recorded. So if you missed the live and you're watching the replay, hey girl, hey. And you can also find the replay on the YouTube page, on Private Label Extensions page. We'll get this downloaded and put on Beauty Clout for all of our Beauty Clout users. And then also you can access it in the Start a Hair Business group. All right. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Megs, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Talking about Beauty Clout and sharing your expertise. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Are we in the future going to be accepting any topics or any feedback that people, any topics that they want to maybe touch on?
Yes. So normally every live I do ask for people to send topics because sometimes I get a little, how people have writer's block. Sometimes I get like creative block. Okay. And I have no clue. I feel like stuff is repetitive. So I can hear ideas of what you guys want to hear about, learn about, what type of people you want on to get information from. So yeah, just share those in the Facebook group or drop a comment on this video and we will make sure we get that over to you.
Awesome.
All right. So if there's nothing else, we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.